it was voted on and got shot down was the graduate transfer. I know your thoughts from it before, but now that it was shot down and it got defeated, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still we're trying not to penalize kids and lose opportunities. Really, what we're not trying to do with that, and I think that's why it was defeated. Is if you do hold it up for 2 years, then obviously coaches are going to have to think about that a little bit more. But the people are going to get hurt are going to be the kids, because you're basically just going to take away scholarships. What will happen is now you're not giving out scholarships to people who need them, and so that's certainly not anything that anybody wants to do. But it's a difficult situation. It's just changed everything in our business. The amount of kids that are leaving now, both as undergraduate transfers and graduate transfers, it's almost overwhelming. The portal's become a joke from the standpoint of like everybody's like, whose name's going in the portal next? And so now you have to reevaluate your recruiting a little bit. How many kids do you sign early? How many scholarships do you keep late, because there are so many? So it's really changing the way that recruiting is going to go, and I think the way staffs are going to think about recruiting. So it's this is not anything new from the standpoint of the discussion of the whole graduate transfer situation. I don't think anybody wants to penalize kids for graduating. We all want kids to graduate. I'm a guy that's been a mid-major guy, so I know how hard that is for mid-major coach to work with a kid, groom him for a couple years, and then lose him for his last year, the year that maybe he could even be more special for you. But I just think that's the NCAA has seen that the student athlete needs to be empowered, and that's what we're trying to do.
Speaking of recruiting, you lost your guy in charge of recruiting last week.
Yeah.
And not just a guy, but a guy who is like, I think Lucas was a little boy when he started working for you.
Yeah, my right-hand guy.
Yeah, talk about Lucas and what he's meant to you in the program.
Well, he's an outstanding young coach. He's an even better person. Somebody was with me for 15 years, from a guy that walked into my office as a manager, wannabe manager,
at UNC Wilmington,
and just told him about all the trials and tribulations. Did you want to get involved? He did. Obviously, the guy loves basketball. He loves people, and to watch him develop as a young person into a father and an outstanding young coach, and just grow in our profession, I'm really proud of him. Happy for him. But it is a loss, because he's a guy that's done a lot for us. He's done a lot for me personally, and he does a lot for our players and our staff. He's a person that you go to when you want to get things done. And so we'll certainly have some other good candidates that can help us and maybe even have a little more true recruiting experience. But Lucas was really beginning to thrive in his job, and that's why he was hired where he was as a full-time assistant, because he has a tremendous amount of contacts, and he works at that. And that's something that he and I have discussed and talked about since he was 22 years old. And then wanted to eventually become a coach. And so he's ready for this job, and we're really happy for him.
Knowing Lucas and how much he thinks about you, I know that wasn't an easy decision for him. What was that conversation like when he went in there to talk to you about it?
Well, the first thing is he's probably had 3 other opportunities at different points in his time with me at Clemson. Some better than others, and this was one with a guy in Billy Donlin who worked for us, played for me, has been a head coach, has been at the highest level, someone we have a lot of confidence in. He has a lot of familiarity with. So those are all things that worked in the favor. It's a really good job, good salary, starting off, new situation. It's not a coach that's been there a couple years. I think there were just a lot of intriguing things and a lot of things that were really comfortable for Lucas. So, I really encouraged him to think long and hard about it, that this was one that's been different than some of the others, and just make sure that Lindsay, his lovely bride, was on board with it.